So inside of Grow a Garden, there has been a minor change to the obtainment of honey, but nonetheless, it is still actively obtainable. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how you can obtain honey, how you can obtain pollinated plants, since those are going to be necessary for this, and additionally, the best ways you can grind for both of these. So starting off, what we're going to be looking at is the pollinated plants. So these are what's going to be necessary for the honey trade-in. So pollinated plants are now, since the bee update has been fully removed, the only active way you can get a pollinated plant. As you see, I still have plenty of pollinated ones that are getting pollinated, right? The only way you can do this is if you have a bee pet. Now, the one and only issue of this is if you don't have the bee pet, you can't get the pollinated plant. And to get a bee, you have to already have had, already had the bee, because no longer can you get the egg since the shop is no longer in. Now, what you can do is obtain the anti-bee egg, since this is actively in. Of course, it takes a bee egg to craft, and it does have multiple pets that are able to do the pollinating ability. But alongside this, we also have plenty of other ways you can obtain these. So a main thing with bees is, since there's so many of them, right? So many people have bees, since the bee and honeybee were so easily obtainable, you could easily trade for these. So plenty of people in my Discord server are trading for these. If you don't actively have a way to get these, that's pretty much the only way you can. So make sure you join my Discord server. Plenty of people will be gifting them out if you get what I just made that pun for. Additionally, we're giving out a bunch of these seed packs in the giveaway, so comment your username on this video to enter into the giveaway for those. Fairly straightforward, but once you have as many pollinated plants as you can, I don't think you can get the pollinated radar anymore. So what this does is, it's like a gun, right? You'll go over and use it, and it'll make a little bubble, and everything that's pollinated in that range will be claimed. So obviously, this is good for just collecting a mass amount of pollinated plants at once, and it only targets pollinated. But personally, I don't have a need for collecting these, since I'm not grinding honey at the moment. But nonetheless, still very, very helpful. Don't think it's actively obtainable anymore though, since it was you can only get it through like buying it from the shop. That was last update. So what we're gonna do is use a recall wrench or walk down to the gear shop, and we're gonna have the honey crafting section right here. Now, I do have, if you want to automate this, since this is a bit of a tedious task, I have, let me find it, boom, this thing. Busy Bee macro. So I have all these things. So none of these are really necessary except this one, the trading macro. So this will auto trade in. This is I call it poly trade in. So this is a tiny tasks recording. So pretty much what you'll do is you'll come up to this and you'll type in pollinated, and then you'll start the macro, and it'll go through and trade in all your pollinated plants. Obviously, I'm not going to trade in like these things. That would be not smart of me, but you can use this. Also, it has the tiny task download, since obviously, it's malware, but no, it's not. Because if you go to the actual Tiny Task website, their GitHub is actively down where you could download it. Yeah. So their GitHub's down. This is the exact same thing you would have downloaded there. So this will be in the description. Do note though, once again, this is really just if you want to automate the trade-in, because it's like a long, tedious task. But nonetheless, that still works. And anyways, if this video helped you out, probably didn't. I'll see you on the next one.